Tremendous atmosphere here in Columbia as always. Mike Elko knows what his team is getting into here tonight. A&M won the toss and deferred, so Jared Zirkle kicks off for the Aggies, and it's a touchback over the head of Juju McDowell. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko told us he decided on Sunday that Marcel Reed is their starting quarterback moving forward, and Connor Wigman is now their backup quarterback. There's no plan to play Wigman here tonight, and of course this Aggies team believes in Marcel Reed. Their running back Le'Veon Moss told us that his composure and his playmaking ability really won over this team, saying every time he steps out onto the field, something good happens. He's an underrated thrower. His running ability opens up more holes for our running backs to make big plays, and I am told nothing phases him, guys.
Certainly seemed that way last week when he came in middle of the third quarter. Play action pass to start the game. Deep throw in single coverage and incomplete. Over the head of the intended receiver Nick Harbor. Lenoris Sellers' first throw of the game, a bomb. He's a redshirt freshman from Florence, South Carolina, first-year starter. And the coaches believe, Greg, he's improved as the season's gone along.
And I feel like he's more confident. The game's slowing down for him. And had he completed that pass, this stadium might have crumbled to the ground with the energy in this building.
He's under duress and breaks free from Scooby Williams. Throws on the run, and it's caught. 20-yard gain on the completion to Rocket Sanders, their running back.
And they just blitz right up the middle. There's nobody that's accounting for the linebacker. That's number 0, Scooby Williams. You got to hit Lenoris Sellers and bring him to the ground. His best attribute is his scrambling ability and keeping plays alive.
Sellers tosses it out to Sanders with room on the corner. Across midfield and then belted down after an 8-yard gain. Hit hard by Marcus Radcliffe. One of their safeties, part of an excellent A&M defense, not just up front. They're giving up just 18.4 points per game. That's 19th in the country.
They're an extremely physical group, but they're really good at all 3 levels. The defensive line's the headliner, but Mike Elko's linebackers and safeties have also really stepped up this season.
It's a gain of 9 for Sanders. South Carolina off a bye week. Sanders has been banged up, recovering from a high ankle sprain. Sellers after the play fake. Zinged one over the head of his intended receiver, Mazeo Bennett. They took a shot down the field on 2nd down and 1 with Dalton Brooks in coverage for the Aggies.
That's twice now where Texas A&M's missed Lenoris Sellers in the backfield with an unblocked defender, and 3rd down's been a problem for South Carolina, and it's their biggest point of emphasis today. Staying in 3rd and manageable, like 3rd and 1s to 3rd and 3s, in that vicinity is great because they have their whole playbook available to them. Can run it or throw it with this down and distance.
How about this formation? A triangle around Lenoris Sellers. He handed it off to Raheem Sanders for a 3-yard gain and a South Carolina 1st down.
South Carolina's offensive line has really struggled at times this year against great defensive fronts. 32 sacks given up. They've really struggled on 3rd down in obvious passing situations, so they got to do a great job of getting the ball out quickly and giving those guys different looks so they can't rush the passer with great ferocity.
5 receivers spread the field. That pass batted up in the air and it falls incomplete. Sanders tried a quick throw and it's knocked down by Shamar Stewart.
If he's going to have a quick game throw, it's a good job by Stewart. Can't rush the passer, so stop, get your hand up and see if you can't knock the ball down. He does there. And now South Carolina in an unenviable 2nd and long. Run it now to make 3rd down more manageable.
And they do run it with Sellers, who scampers out of bounds at the 40-yard line. They want a late hit on the South Carolina sideline. They won't get it. A 3-yard pickup, and here comes 3rd down and 7. He was actually out of bounds before he took the hit from Marcus Ratcliffe that the Gamecock fans sideline didn't like.
Understandable on their sideline, but here 3rd down and 7, you might have 2 downs to get it. So you can run it here if you like the numbers inside, but it looks like man coverage across the board.
Third down and 7, 4-man rush. Sellers took off running, slides down. He might not have gotten the first down with that slide. If he stayed on his feet for another step, he has the first down. But instead, it's going to be 4th down and 1.
Potentially a big play there already. We've seen Sellers do this a couple times, not knowing where he's at, but young quarterbacks need to know. Don't slide on third downs and touchdowns. And Shane Beamer's young quarterback there could have had the conversion.
And Coach Beamer is going to go for it on 4th down. And it's a first down. Raheem Sanders, sturdy running back at 230 pounds, just put his head down and powered to the 32-yard line.
It's going to be interesting watching Rocket Sanders throughout this game. Has been a little banged up this year. Injured his ankle early in the season. Hasn't had quite the same level of twitch. But the Carolina coaches tell us that he's as healthy as he's been all year.
Sanders bounces outside. Certainly looks healthy on this opening drive. He got 9 more. Tackled by Dalton Brooks, their second leading tackler for the season, behind only their defensive captain, the linebacker Torian York.
You have to love this start from Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina, mixing up run pass, getting his quarterback comfortable, taking an early shot to get A&M thinking about it. It's been a great first drive.
Oscar Adaway came in at running back, and he went in motion to the right. Empty backfield, design run, and it's Lenoris Sellers on his way to the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina. A 23-yard touchdown for Sellers. His 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Alex Herrera on for the extra point. And South Carolina leads 7-0. They go 75 yards in 11 plays.
What a start for the Gamecocks. Building on the momentum of the pregame, Lenoris Sellers into the end zone, and the offensive coordinator, Dowell Loggins, calls a gem to put the Gamecocks up early.
Lenoris Sellers, the touchdown run. And an impressive opening possession for South Carolina. He rushed for 32 yards on the drive and completed 1 out of 4, but it went for 20 yards to Raheem Sanders. So Marcel Reed getting ready for his first chance of the night. And for the second week in a row, he'll be called upon to try to lead A&M to a come-from-behind win. Alex Herrera kicks off, and that'll be a touchback.
Take a look at the opening drive touchdown from the AT&T Connected Cam. It's a pin and pull. It's just a thing of beauty designed there by Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator. But Mazeo Bennett, number 3, freshman wide receiver, getting in the action, blocking Cassius Howell, securing the edge, and allowing plenty of space for Lenoris Sellers to run through it for a big play. That's a great job on the perimeter.
So here come the Aggies, led by Reed, the redshirt freshman from Nashville, Tennessee. He hands it off. There's a flag down. If the play stands, it's Le'Veon Moss for 8. Well, there was a flag thrown at the line of scrimmage. The referee is Steve Marlowe, leading this Southeastern Conference crew.
Offside. Defense number 6 in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty is declined. Second down.
Dylan Stewart. They got almost 9, so Mike Elko turned down the penalty. Reed came in last week. They were down 17-7 midway through the third quarter. This is his 4th start of the season. Connor Wigman was the start of the beginning of the year. He got hurt. Reed came in and played very well, leading them to 3 wins. Moss chopped down by Nick Emanwari, one of the best safeties in the country, just this week announced as one of the 16 semifinals for the Jim Thorpe Award as the best DB in the country.
A great tackle there on Le'Veon Moss. Big third down as Wigman looks on. He's going to be a great teammate to Marcel Reed. He has eyes for the sideline, but a big third down, a stop here and an early 3 and out would have a lot of energy on the side of the Gamecocks.
Hand off Amari Daniels, and it looks like he's about a foot short. Eamon Warry up around the line of scrimmage again. Dylan Stewart involved in the play. They are short. And Mike Elko is leaving the offense on the field for 4th down and inches.
They'll run the ball here.
He's trying to draw the Gamecocks offside. Now he runs under center. Will they snap it? Still plenty of time on the play clock. Both teams trying to get the other to flinch. They do snap it. Reed got stood up. Surges forward at the very end, but he is short.
And what a stop by this defensive line, getting low, have guys going over the top, but I don't love the play call. Marcel Reed's 180 pounds, and you're trying to surge him forward into a grown man defense with seniors and fifth-year players across the board. Mike Elko looks on, but I think you hand it to your 220-pound running back who's averaging 4 yards after contact per carry. I don't like the play call there, but a great stop by South Carolina.
As Shane Beamer and the defensive coordinator Clayton White said for South Carolina, it's not just the ends. They are very stout in the middle of their defensive line as well. Play fake by Sellers. Takes the pass out into the flat to Sanders. And he rolls down inside the 20. Shane Beamer fired up out to pat his running back on the back after a 14-yard gain.
Shane Beamer emphasized the importance of starting fast in this football game and getting his playmakers going. Lenore Sellers seeing the field well. He's playing fast, and Rocket Sanders off to a nice start.
And movement on both sides. Looked like Scorton came across, and then Cason Henry moved at right tackle in response. And it is against Scorton.
Penalty, first down.
Transfer from Purdue. He's come back home. He's from Bryan, Texas. And he has been terrific for Mike Elko. Mike Elko was worried about this tonight. He said our team's coming off a huge home win in front of 108,000 come from behind win for sole possession of first place. Both A&M and LSU undefeated heading into that game. Coming here on homecoming night game, hostile environment, talented South Carolina team coming off a bye week. Wide open, touchdown, Joshua Simon, 15 yards. Simon's their leading receiver. He came in with just 20 catches. They're a team that does it primarily on the ground, and more specifically, they do it on defense, as they did to set up that possession on the 4th down stop. Herrera's extra point has made it 14-0.
Big 4th down stop by South Carolina to force the 3 and out, gives the offense the short field. They pay it off with another great throw by Lenore Sellers as hockey is rolling here in Columbia.
Capital One card holders can get their own rewarding performance when they redeem their credit card rewards for tickets to exclusive events and experiences on Capital One Entertainment. Scan the code on the screen to learn more. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Taco Bell Live Más student section going crazy all season long. Student sections around the country competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. 2 weeks ago in their last game in Norman, Oklahoma, they raced out to a 21-0 lead. Carried by the defense, they scored 2 defensive touchdowns. Complimentary football tonight for the Gamecocks out of the gate, but a long way to go. Fair catch made by Isaiah Williams. Time for the Modelo playbook.
The Aggies a heavy man coverage team, and you know what beats man coverage? Misdirection, tight ends, and running backs. Well, this time, misdirection. They fake the handoff inside, rolls Sellers to his right, throws a fadeaway jumper, and you get a tight end working against Torin York, the linebacker, and he's wide open in the back of the end zone. Just a thing of beauty with the design from Dowell Loggins. And this offense is clicking in high gear, picking up right where they left off.
Second possession for Texas A&M. They were stopped on 4th down and inches. Reed managed to get it off at the last moment. Le'Veon Moss rolls out near the 45-yard line, and he is hurt. He got hit hard at the end of the play by DQ Smith. It's a 20-yard game, but a lot of concern over there on that A&M sideline as their outstanding running back, who is extremely tough, is not getting up. 14-0 South Carolina, first quarter.
Texas A&M running back Le'Veon Moss couldn't put any weight on his right leg. He had to be helped to the injury tent. Head coach Mike Elko went and checked on him. I'll update you on his status, but they are looking at a right knee injury in there. And Moss told me he cares so much about this team and said, my mentality is the only way I'm leaving the field is on a stretcher. I'll let you know more as soon as I have information, guys.
And they're a little thin at running back. They lost Ruben Owens to a foot injury in training camp in August. He was in a battle with Moss to be their lead running back, and they envisioned that they'd be a great 1-2 punch. Marcel Reed takes off running, and he got 8 to advance into Gamecock territory, where Bam Martin Scott made the stop.
This Texas A&M team has battled adversity all season long as far as injuries are concerned. For the next man up type of approach, but Le'Veon Moss has been their MVP, so that one hurts a little more than really any other.
Facing their largest deficit of the season, the A&M Aggies. Amari Daniels, the running back, he'll be the featured back now. He's been a 1A behind Moss this year. He was their leading rusher last season in a 7-6 season under Jimbo Fisher in his 6th and last year as head coach of the Aggies. And he's stacked up for no gain. Bam Martin Scott in there again, a 6th-year senior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, on a team loaded with veterans. They have 37 players on the South Carolina team who are seniors, either 4th, 5th, or 6th year.
They have a lot of leadership on that side of the ball, and they have a lot of things to account for in this game. They have to tackle well in the open field, and that's been a great start for them.
Reed tackled from behind after a 2-yard gain. Kyle Kennard made the play. The transfer from Georgia Tech, who's had a fabulous first season here in South Carolina. 3rd down and 8.
And this is what you want to avoid if you're offensive coordinator Colin Klein. Obvious passing situation. These 2 edge rushers, Kyle Kennard up top, and number 6, Dylan Stewart, the fastest edge rushers in the Southeastern Conference and arguably the country. And they'll be breathing fire off the edge here.
Reed ran all over. There's a flinch on the right end of the offensive line. Demetrius Crown over the right tackle. That'll make it 3rd down and 13. Reed is not just a runner. Matter of fact, in those previous 3 starts he mentioned earlier, he threw 2 touchdown passes in each of them.
And who can blame number 78? Crownover getting a head start working against Dylan Stewart, but here I would anticipate something conservative from Colin Klein. I mean, 3rd and forever, you can't make a big mistake with your young quarterback. Let's see if they just go quarterback draw.
Reed's thrown only one pass so far. He takes off running. They rushed right by him. Reed still with work to do. He's out of bounds short of the line to gain by 2 yards. Knocked out by O'Donnell Fortune, but it makes it a much more manageable 4th down should Mike Elko choose to go for it, but he's not going to after they got stuffed on 4th and inches in their own territory. He sends the field goal team out. You like that decision?
I don't love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can get short, you're in trouble, so you got to kind of stop the bleeding. But 4th and 2, man, with a run team that can push you off the ball, I'd go for it. Trust the O-line.
52-yarder for the veteran Randy Bond, who would match his career long. He got plenty of it, and they're on the board with room to spare right into the All-State field goal nets. He's a terrific kicker, now 15 out of 17 on this season.
Probably just sensing that if they get stopped again, this place is going to absolutely come unglued. So just opting to just take the points there, make your offense a young offensive coach, a young quarterback, and allowing them to kind of stop the bleeding, so you speak.
And Le'Veon Moss not available to them, who might be the call on 4th down and short. Here's our SEC on ABC college football schedule next Saturday. It'll start at noon. Texas Idol this week back in action at home against Florida, which gave Georgia all good handle today. Georgia survived, and Ole Miss walloped Arkansas today to set up a big one at 3:30. And they cap it at 7 o'clock. Alabama and LSU. All 3 games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. What a performance by Ole Miss today.
Without Trey Harris, too, their top wide receiver, it's nice to have a guy like Jordan Watkins step up and go catch 5 touchdowns, young man.
5 touchdown catches, playing without perhaps the best wide receiver in the country. Jared Zirkle's kickoff down to Juju McDowell. They faked a reverse, and McDowell's down near the 30-yard line with a 28-yard return for Shane Beamer. They play excellent special teams under Shane Beamer. Beamer ball 2.0. Of course, his dad, Frank Beamer, legendary Hall of Fame Virginia Tech coach, who was best known for his special teams units. Like father, like son.
The team really has improved under Shane Beamer these last few years. They've really played their best football at the end of the season. Kind of struggled sometimes in September and October, but man, they've finished really strong, most notably in 2022 when they knocked off some big-time teams down the stretch.
They're 8-4 in November in 4 seasons under Beamer. Well, the previous 3, this is their first November game tonight. Sellers gone away, takes off running, has a first down. Just stiff arms some would-be tacklers away and slides down at the 42. What a 12-yard run by Sellers, who's 6'3", 242.
And how about escaping Shamar Stewart, who beats the left tackle Josiah Thompson inside. That's multiple times now. Aggies have had hands on Sellers, and he breaks free for a big play.
They line up quickly. Oscar Attaway comes in at running back. Under 4.5 to go, first quarter, 14-3, South Carolina. Attaway knocked down at the 45, a gain of 3. Another tackle for Marcus Radcliffe, the transfer from San Diego State. One of the reasons for the improvement for A&M this season. Mike Elko did a terrific job with his staff in the transfer portal. They brought in 26 players out of the portal.
6 on defense that are all starting for him, and 7 that are heavily used in their rotation.
Out of the pistol now. Play fake, and Sellers pass too high. Over the head of Nick Harbor.
It's a big down here for Texas A&M's defense. Their offense just finally got some points. Things are starting to calm down just a little bit. To get the ball back to Marcel Reed and company could be massive here. And 3rd and longs, expect to see some exotics and some man coverage underneath.
Attaway, the running back. Looks like they're setting up a screen. They let the Aggies penetrate, and they still rally to knock down Gage Larvidan. Bryce Anderson, one of the veterans in their secondary, junior from Beaumont, Texas. playing in his 31st career game for A&M.
The Aggies just need to weather the early storm. They knew that South Carolina's going to be fired up coming out of the bye week, and they've had a couple opportunities to drop Lenora Sellers in the backfield, and they haven't, so they got to wrap those up going forward because those could be sacks.
Kai Kroger, one of the best punters in the country, 5th year as the South Carolina punter. Terry Bussey back deep, and he makes a fair catch at the 12. Here's Molly.
Aggies running back Le'Veon Moss still in the injury tent, being evaluated for a right knee injury, and Aggies players very concerned. Marcel Reed walked off the field and right to the injury tent to check on him. Then numerous players walked in and out of the tent to check on Moss. I have never seen so many people crammed inside of an injury tent. The concern is palpable, guys, and I'm told A&M has called for a cart down here on the sideline.
Moss is the 3rd leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference. Came into tonight averaging 95 yards per game, behind only Dylan Sampson of Tennessee and Jarquez Hunter of Auburn. That was starting today's action. Marcel Reed. Aggies from their own 12. Play action fake of their own. Some hand fighting along the sideline. No flags. Moose Muhammad, the intended receiver, with Judge Collier in coverage.
Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator, he's going to want to take some shots with Marcel Reed. He's very comfortable throwing it outside the numbers. He's also pretty good throwing it down the field. But seeing the middle of the field is where he's kind of struggled. But you miss on 1st down, you got to get it back to 3rd and manageable, so expect run here.
Colin Klein's in his 1st year here, joined Mike Elko's new staff after being the offensive coordinator the last couple of years at his alma mater at Kansas State. Missed exchange. The ball is free. They tried to hand it off to the explosive Terry Bussey, and they missed the exchange, but Bussey got it back in a battle with Dylan Stewart. But it's a loss back inside the 6-yard line.
Potentially a catastrophic mistake right here. 2 freshmen handling the football. Bussey thinks he's pulling it. He doesn't. He hands it. It's on the ground, and very fortunate to jump on it before a Gamecock defender grabbed it inside the 10.
Third down and 15. Reed can't find anybody. There's a flag thrown as he runs out of bounds at the 13. Flag thrown behind him after a 6-yard gain.
Holding. Number 55.
Armaji Reed Adams called for it, the right guard. It's an offensive line that's had to deal with some injuries this year. They lost Mark Nebu, their center, in the 1st game, out for the year with a torn ACL. This is their 2nd game without their excellent left guard, Chase Basanis. The freshman TJ Shanahan has stepped in for him. So Tyler White will punt. He's had an outstanding year for the Aggies. This is not his best. Hits near midfield and goes out of bounds at the 47 of South Carolina. 40-yard punt. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, rollicking start for the homecoming crowd here in Columbia on a gorgeous night, 70 degrees in the capital of South Carolina. And what a start for the Gamecocks, picking up right where they left off in their last game 2 weeks ago, and they hammered Oklahoma.
Yeah, the defense has really done a good job of creating a little bit of an edge. Feels like A&M's settling in just a little bit on defense, but my goodness, those first couple possessions, they gave this A&M defense so many different looks. Rollouts, sprint outs, inside runs, outside runs, screens. Let's see if they can kind of keep them guessing throughout the game.
Their offensive numbers aren't great. Raheem Sanders, the ball carrier, but it's very much a program that believes in complementary football in all 3 phases. And Dow Loggins said last week, we were ahead 32-3 at the half. All we wanted to do is make sure we didn't turn it over against an Oklahoma team that has really struggled to score all season long. So they played it very close to the vest. You know, sometimes that's frustrating for offensive coordinators who want to put up numbers. Bad pitch. Good catch by Sanders. There's a flag down. He's down for a loss. Bryce Anderson up from the secondary to lead the way. Loss of 2. And now Mike Elko with a decision to make. If he turns it down, it'll be 3rd down at about 12, and that's what he's going to do. Elko, 47 years old, was the defensive coordinator at A&M for 4 years, 2018 to 21, under Jimbo Fisher. Left and went to Duke for 2 seasons as the head coach. Terrific job there. ACC Coach of the Year in 2022 when they won 9 games.
What a job he's done, and really just changing the culture, getting buy-in, and the attention to detailed approach.
So 3rd down and 10. Here's a blitz. They got it off to Sanders. A missed tackle, and off he goes. The ball's out at the end, and A&M has it. B.J. Mays wound up with the football. There's also a flag down in the middle of the field near where the play ended. Will Lee popped it out, and Mays recovered. Mays helped turn that game around last week against LSU with 2 interceptions. The first he returned to the 8-yard line to set up the first possession for Marcel Reed at quarterback when he scored from those 8 yards out.
Is recovered by the defense. A personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 5 for Texas A&M.
Obviously, Steve Marlowe's microphone is having some difficulties. Shamar Turner called for the personal foul, but the turnover stands.
And blitz against any type of screen is trouble for the defense. Rocket Sanders gets out, but how about Will Lee, the corner, coming in, swiping at it with his right hand, punching it out. Great job there. And there's the transfer from UAB, Mays there to pick it up, and they're going to get Shamar Turner late, who came over and hit unnecessarily at the end of the play.
Hit Kamar Bell, one of the offensive linemen for South Carolina. A takeaway for the A&M defense. Quick slant. Great one-handed grab by Jabri Barber. And a first down with a 12-yard pickup. What a terrific catch by Barber, transfer from Troy.
Feels like his role in this offense is going to continue to grow.
He was injured at the start of the year. Come back from a foot injury. Nice throw by Reed. On target again to Barber. And he's knocked down at the 48. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. 15 more on the completion to Barber.
I like using a little tempo right here. Kind of see if you can jolt your offense to life a little bit by speeding things up.
Amari Daniels, hard-earned couple of yards to midfield on what's going to be the last play of the first quarter. South Carolina leads 14-3. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Coach, a strong start for your offense, huge 4th down stop, but a momentum change with that fumble. What does your team need to continue to do here?
Yeah, we got to get a stop here on defense. Obviously, great start, us converting a 4th and 1, stopping them on a 4th and 1 as well. But, you know, this team's great at taking the ball away. We knew that going into this. We got to get some takeaways ourselves. And you know, disappointing those last 2 drives offensively, a lot of just hurting ourselves more so than them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
He's right about A&M during this 7-game winning streak. They're +9 in the turnover margin, best in the conference during that span. Marcel Reed, beautiful play. Cyrus Allen ran open and caught it. He's out of bounds. Well, the first down to the 29-yard line, a 22-yard completion.
If I were A&M, I'd be going fast. It looked like Allen kind of bobbled it as he was going out of bounds, so I'd call it quickly before they have a chance to take a peek.
Reed, another missed exchange, and he falls on it. Well, that's a couple, and Reed's frustrated. And it's a big loss of 8 on the play.
This has been a handful of mistakes already. 2 between running backs and Reed in just a simple exchange. I mean, they got to calm things down a little bit here. I know it's a hectic environment. I know it's hostile, but big mistakes getting behind the chains is not a good recipe against this defense.
Very rarely a good recipe against any defense, but particularly against a bunch as salty as these Gamecocks. There's a high throw. Cyrus Allen couldn't make the catch. And again, they're not just the defensive line either. Talented linebackers and a veteran group in the secondary as well. 4 out of 6 passing for 69 yards for Reed. And they're right on the fringe of field goal range here.
You would expect something. Maybe just conservative, run it up inside, make this field goal a little bit easier. It's unlikely to convert a 3rd and 19 against this pass rush.
They empty the backfield. It's a design run for Reed, and he gets nothing. They were ready for that. Dylan Stewart, the true freshman out of Washington, D.C. One of the top recruits in the country, number 14 overall in the ESPN rankings in this last recruiting class. Connor Wigman watching tonight. A couple of years ago, the class of 2022, he was the #1 pocket passer in the entire country coming out of high school. So here's Bond, and this would be a career long. It's already connected from 52. This would be 55. Really no breeze to speak of here in Columbia tonight. And that one is long enough, and that one is good. Oh. How good are these kickers all over college football? And that was good with plenty of room to spare.
As soon as it left his foot, you heard the crowd go quiet. They knew it was plenty of leg, plenty of distance, and right down the middle. From the logo, it splits the uprights. Well done.
Look at how that's up into the net.
Yeah, why does he look so puzzled? That thing almost hit the scoreboard. A heck of a kick.
Mike Elko, even after that big win against LSU last week, a little disconsolate when we met with him last night. He's a big New York Yankee fan and was disappointed about their loss in the World Series. He's a New Jersey native, graduate of Penn, played on an Ivy League championship team in the late 90s. Do you want a little bonus Aflac trivia question?
I would love that.
He's one of 3 Ivy League graduates who are FBS head coaches out of the
There's 3?
3.
Wow. Well, oh, no. Syracuse is not Ivy League. But Bill O'Brien?
Bill O'Brien is one, a Brown graduate.
Brown graduate.
Now at Boston College, of course. The other one I don't think you'll get. Oh, you might. Jared Zirkle kicks off the Georgia transfer. Well, I will give you a hint. The other one, his team played against South Carolina this season.
Wow. Okay.
That narrows it down to 7 teams.
Brian Kelly?
Ricky Ronnie of Old Dominion went to Cornell. They're wicked smart, as we would say, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I'll tell you what, man, Mike Elko, too, I'm just embracing the culture, leaning into the Aggie way. And
what a great hire.
It's a great hire.
And he's such a good coach, made his name on defense. He'd been at A&M, understands the situation. Wanted to change the culture. That's hard to do in this transfer portal age. So I knew he had a lot of good players. Everybody knows how well A&M has recruited in recent years. Blitz right up the middle. And again, Lenora Sellers escapes. That's been a big story here in the first 17 minutes. He has looked like he might be taken down for a loss, and he's turned it into gains a couple of times.
I mean, this has to be 5 or 6 times where the Aggies have had an unblocked defender rushing Lenora Sellers, and he pulls a Houdini. I mean, that's an amazing play. What should have been a loss of 5 is a gain of 5.
Pressure again, brought by A&M. They run through it with Rocket Sanders. And the Rocket has a lot more fuel tonight. Clearly healthier than he's been for a lot of this season. He suffered a high ankle sprain in their crushing loss here to LSU.
And this is a great run by Rocket Sanders. Breaks to the outside. This is the speed that we haven't seen as much of the last few weeks. He's been trying to get back to 100% with that injured ankle.
28-yard gain. Sanders again changes directions. The Aggie tackling hasn't been up to its usual standard so far tonight. And that's a 6-yard gain for the transfer from Arkansas, where he was first team All-SEC 2 years ago. Interesting transformation for South Carolina in these 2 years with Dow Loggins as the coordinator. Last year, they were extremely pass heavy when they had Spencer Rattler quarterback, Xavier Legette at wide receiver. But with those two gone, with Sanders here and Sellers a good running quarterback, they really changed it around completely. 4-yard loss for Attaway, and that's good coaching, Greg. I mean, you play to the strengths of your team.
Yeah, and you don't try to force a square peg into a round hole, because if you look at Lenora Sellers, his skill set completely different from that of Spencer Rattler. So embrace who he is at this point of his development, and then bring him along in a way that will allow him to become a more complete player. But a tough situation here in 3rd and long.
3rd and 8. They really aren't in field goal range for Alex Herrera. Again, Sellers running away from Aggies, and he puts his head down and steamrolls the tackler B.J. Mays for a first down.
Well, a little earlier, he slid on 3rd down. This time he takes the coaching, and from the progressive pylon can you see him lower the shoulder, and at 240 pounds, there's no way B.J. Mays is winning that battle with a full head of steam.
Mays is 195.
Watch out for the shot play right here from Dow Loggins to see if they throw it downfield.
Sellers particularly strong in the lower body. This is a design run. He gets outside, has another first down, then gets knocked down out of bounds, and the flags fly. He got the first down with the run, and they'll tack on some more with the penalty. Will Lee guilty of the late hit.
And just the exact same play that we saw earlier from Lenora Sellers that he scored the opening touchdown on. Just pin and pull, receivers blocking down, offensive lineman getting out in front, Lenora Sellers at the end. Will Lee hitting him, and a little bit of gamesmanship, a little sell there, but a frustrating play there from Elko as his defense makes a mistake.
73 yards rushing for Sellers. They try it again, and the Aggies didn't let him turn in the corner. Shoved out of bounds by Solomon DeShields, a backup linebacker. Under 10 minutes to go in the half.
South Carolina in the red zone. I mean, they are not one that wants to take a ton of chances throwing it this part of the field. I mean, they're a running football team, and when the field condenses, it's very difficult to throw it. So anticipate them continue to lean on the ground.
Sellers, end zone, low throw. Trying to get it to the tight end, Joshua Simon. It looked like he had a step. But the pass was incomplete. Torian York had the coverage.
And this was a nice throw by Lenora Sellers. You kind of protect the receiver when you throw it low in the end zone. Sometimes you want to throw it high over the top of defenders, but when there's nobody in front, you protect him. He grasps it as he goes to the ground.
Should have been caught.
Should have absolutely been caught.
That's a little low, but not that low. Actually, as you said, in a good spot.
I think it's
avoid an interception. It was the first pass on this drive. They had run 7 straight running plays. An A&M blitz. Sellers eludes it again and got inside the line of scrimmage, picked up a yard, and that's all. Nick Scorton made the tackle. 4th down and goal with this far to go. From the 7-yard line, Shane Beamer will send on Alex Herrera.
And that was a tough two-play sequence as Beamer goes right over to his tight end Simon, tells him, hey man, we're going to keep throwing it in your direction. We know you're going to make those plays for us, but that was a big mistake there on the drop.
And they've had some close calls against ranked teams. Herrera from 25 yards from the right hash mark. Kai Kroger, the holder. And it's 17-6. And you can't miss opportunities like that to score a touchdown when you're playing number 10 in the country.
To meet with you is a turning point in my life.
Kevin Nagani in studio. Time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Let's go to Knoxville. Tennessee. Kentucky's Brock Vandergrift to Josh Caddis. It's the first score of the game. Wildcats up 7-0 against the Volunteers early in the second quarter on the SEC Network. Sean, Greg, back to you.
All right, thank you. Slow starting Tennessee team week after week.
The Kentucky team has looked terrible the last couple weeks, so any given Saturday in the SEC.
Kai Kroger kicked it out of the air. They didn't put the ball on a tee, and he pulled it out of bounds. That is certainly not what Shane Beamer was hoping for when he decided to not go with Herrera. I think he wanted a directional kick by the terrific punter Kroger. Herrera's not a touchback man.
Free kick out of bounds, 39, kicking team. The ball would be placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
And Shane Beamer frustrated. Special teams been good this year, but not up to their usual standard. It's a drop kick kickoff out of bounds.
And remember, I mean, they did the drop kick onside kick against Alabama, so maybe just a little gamesmanship there, but that was poorly executed.
E.J. Smith running back now. Le'Veon Moss taken to the dressing room on a cart. Looked to be a significant leg injury. Bam Martin Scott made the tackle on Smith.
Texas A&M just needs to stay committed to running the football. The offensive line, they tend to get better as the game goes along, so don't abandon it by any stretch. Just continue to pound away with some time-extending drives.
Reed pulled it back through a bit of a knuckleball caught by Terry Bussey for a 7-yard gain. Electric freshman, highly recruited. And the coaches told us last night he could play anywhere. He could play just about anywhere on offense. He could play anywhere on defense. They're 0 out of 4 on third down. This is third down and 1. Amari Daniels back in at running back. Marcel Reed now 5 for 7 passing for 76. Daniels first down and much more. He may go. Amari Daniels touchdown. 56 yards.
And how about the right side of this offensive line just all over the place as they gash it right outside the right tackle. There's really not a defender outside the right tackle. Crowd over, they run right into that void. And Daniels is out the gate. Just great job attacking the space there along the defensive front for South Carolina. It turns into a big play. What an answer by the Aggies.
By far his longest run of the year. As a matter of fact, twice as long as his previous long, which was 28. For as much as it seems as though everything's gone South Carolina's way, their lead is now 4 points after the extra point by Randy Bond. Amari Daniels, the junior from Miami, tells this homecoming crowd to pipe down.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by the all-new Sonic Smasher. Live free. Eat Sonic.
You're watching the SEC on ABC. 11th meeting all time between these now SEC rivals, Texas A&M and South Carolina. They played every year since 2014. Of course, A&M joined the conference in 2012. And the Aggies have dominated. They won 9 of the previous 10. The only South Carolina win was here 2 years ago, and Xavier Legette returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. That is the worst record for South Carolina against any team that they've played more than 5 times. Jared Zirkle's kickoff is another touchback. Here's our player check-in presented by Allstate.
The Aggies have been bringing the heat. Lenora Sellers been under pressure on more than half of his dropbacks. The problem is the Aggies can't close the deal. Lenora Sellers been amazing extending plays. They've also gotten hands on him multiple times. They just can't bring him to the ground at 240 pounds with a lot of burst and athleticism. They've gotten him in good positions, but he continues to pull the rabbit out of the hat. This Aggie defensive front is going to have to be a little bit more disciplined when rushing the passer, and they got to finish when they get hands on the quarterback.
Oscar Attaway, room outside again. This run defense for the Aggies has not been very good on the edges. And that's a 27-yard run for Oscar Attaway.
Who didn't expect this thing to turn into a complete track meet with these two defenses? But the run games have been outstanding. And this is a play that they've continued to go to over and over again. The outside perimeter run has been there for the Gamecocks all night.
Here's Attaway again. Transfer from North Texas, got 7. Molly?
Well, Sean, Aggies head coach Mike Elko went to every position group on their defense and basically begged them to keep quarterback Lenora Sellers in the pocket and limit his rushing ability, saying, you got to get to this kid. Do whatever you have to do to stop him, hit him, rattle him. You cannot let their quarterback run on us like this.
He's rushed for 74 yards. Some of them on plays that looked like they were pass call. Wow, that'll be incomplete. I believe it was pitched forward, and it's incomplete. Shamar Stewart broke it up. And that's one of the reasons why you run the play like that. In case this happens, it is just an incomplete pass.
If you need an example of just how powerful Shamar Stewart is, I mean, he just hit Jared Brown. I think Jared Brown flew 10 yards. It seemed like just so big and physical up the field, but fortunate incompletion there for South Carolina.
Jared Brown battling back from injury. They do think they can get some playmaking from the wide receiver position out of him. They're ordinary at that position. Another big hit. Boy, Brown might want to go back on the injured situation. After those 2 plays, he got planted by Will Lee, and it's a hard-earned 1 yard for Brown.
He has to go underneath his receiver that's trying to set the pick for him, and he's dropped short. The 4th down here.
4th and 2.
I think you run your quarterback. I mean, Lenora Sellers at 240 pounds. I think you got to stay aggressive. You've run the ball well all night. I'd run Lenora Sellers on the perimeter.
ESPN Analytics says go for it. I think they're going to run it down, use the timeout, and talk about the play call. Because the microphone into his helmet gets shut off at 15 seconds. There was nobody over there signaling any plays. So a timeout. We'll see what Shane Beamer elects to do. They were once up 14-0. Now it's just a 4-point lead for South Carolina. Back in Columbia, South Carolina, 5.5 to go till halftime. South Carolina leading 17-13. They were up at one point 14-0, and it looks like they are going to go for this 4th down and 2 at the Aggies 40.
And if I'm Shane Beamer, I like being aggressive here. Maybe try to go with the hard count, see if you can get him to jump off sides. But I would get Lenora Sellers out of the pocket. He's on the left hash, roll him to his right, and see if you can maybe create a little separation. If nothing's there in the passing game, he takes off to convert on the run.
Well, Raheem Sanders on the field for a while now for South Carolina. Quick throw, and it's broken up. Jaden Hill made the play. They tried to jam it on a quick slant to Mazeo Bennett, and it was broken up.
And they bring pressure off the right-hand side. It's man coverage behind it, and it's really well covered there by the inside slot nickel cover guy, Jaden Hill. He breaks on it immediately, gets that left hand out in front. Pretty accurate throw. It's just great coverage, and Mike Elko's defense has stood up, made a nice stop.
I wonder if there's something wrong with Rocket Sanders. He's been so effective. We've talked a couple of times about how well he's run. He's averaged more than 7 yards per carry. Meanwhile, A&M with momentum on its side now, playing without its leading rusher, Le'Veon Moss. And E.J. Smith dropped for a loss. Demetrius Knight and Bam Martin Scott.
And these linebackers for South Carolina do such a great job of recognition. They see it immediately, little speed option. Number 17, Knight, registers so quickly and closes. This is a veteran group that has great recognition.
Coaches love Knight. He's 24 years old, the transfer from Charlotte. Over the middle, good throw by Reed, good catch by Barber. And he's within 2 of the first down at the 48-yard line, a gain of 11.
It's amazing just how often A&M will get off schedule and then boom, they get back into a third and very manageable. And when they're under 3 yards, they have just 2 pass attempts on third down all season. I expect run right here, see if they can pick it up on the ground.
Amari Daniels, the running back. They're just 1 for 5 on third down. Design throw, and a man breaking wide open. Trey Watson, one of their tight ends, chopped down by O'Donnell Fortune, but a 15-yard gain, and they go to the Gamecock 38.
And there's your tendency breaker right there. Just 2 pass attempts on third and 3 or less all season. This time they drop back. You see South Carolina in blitz coverage. So many guys up near the line of scrimmage anticipating run. They throw it to Watson. He's out the back door for a nice conversion.
Just his 8th catch of the year, another transfer. He's from Fresno State. Reed, cool as usual, even when they got rattled by South Carolina right out of the gate with those 2 quick scores, and now he scampers inside the 20. A 20-yard gain for Marcel Reed with his parents here tonight. That's his dad, Roderick, who spent 11 years as the head coach at Tennessee State, his mom, Tamika.
Isn't it just amazing to see an offense that was in a hole last week against a great LSU team? Reed goes in, they weather the storm, and they just climb their way back in. For a team that's so run-oriented, to see how they battle back from deficits is truly amazing.
Amari Daniels, the running back, poised to take the lead. The Aggies late in the half, and that one's batted down. And that's a good thing for South Carolina, because it looked like Jabri Barber was breaking free on a slant. DQ Smith got in the way.
And DQ Smith, a great job there, timing his jump. That ball was going to be a touchdown if it gets through that line of defenders. And DQ Smith going up at 6'1", knocking it down and stopping the touchdown.
Reed 7 out of 10 passing for 101. He's rushed 8 times for 39. He keeps it. He bounces outside and goes out of bounds. Looked to be just short of the line to gain. Demetrius Knight there for South Carolina. It's a 9-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 1 as we look at it from the Progressive Pylon cam.
Yeah, just out of bounds, a little bit short of the line to gain, but you now have 2 downs to get it if you're Texas A&M's offensive line, and they're really starting to run the ball great here as the end of the half approaches.
This has the feel of they're going to use the timeout as the play clock goes to 5. And Mike Elko will use a timeout, his first.
Texas A&M, the first of the half, 30-second timeout.
Let's take a look at the college football rankings entering today's action, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Oregon #1, an easy win at Michigan. Boy, Georgia really struggled with Florida, pulled away late, and the big Big Ten battle in Happy Valley, won by Ohio State.
And that Miami score, I mean, I know they won comfortably when you look at it at the end, but that game was a battle for a vast majority.
They pulled away late as well.
There's a lot of teams that might have good records. There's a lot of inconsistency in the sport this year, isn't it?
Miami's having one of those years that feels like it's kind of charmed. You know, they hung on to beat Virginia Tech. It was that play at the very end of the game. They were way down at Cal, rallied to win. It's kind of feeling like it's one of those years for the Kings. They started 0 out of 5 on third down. They're 2 for their last 2. This is 3rd down and 1. Amari Daniels, the running back. You're just joining us. Le'Veon Moss, their leading rusher, is out with an injury. They throw it to the end zone, trying to get it to Noah Thomas. And Vakari Swain had the coverage. Interesting call. Took a chance on 3rd down and 1, trying to get it to the 6'6" Noah Thomas, but now you put a lot of pressure on this 4th down.
Yeah, I think that call was made with the 4th down decision already declared. They're going for it all the way, take a chance to your big receiver in the end zone. Now you get back to basic.
I would have liked run it ahead, get the 1st down.
Sure.
I'm an Aggie fan.
Maybe you could steal one though against the 6-6 wide out.
Get a fresh set of downs. Now you put a lot of heat on your team to get this. Amari Daniels, the running back, in the pistol. Reed keeps it, but there's a whistle. South Carolina called a timeout right before the snap.
Before the snap, timeout South Carolina. 2nd of the half. 30-second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes 11 seconds.
It's a program here that could use a big win. They've lost 9 in a row to ranked teams. They really feel like they could be in the position A&M's in right now.
Yeah.
They had a 17-0 lead here early in the year against LSU, their 3rd game of the season. Sellers got hurt. The game changed. They still led late and lost it by 3. They haven't beaten a ranked team since they won at Clemson late in 2022. And then at Alabama, same deal. The lead early in the 4th quarter. Fell behind, had a chance to tie it on a 2-point play, didn't get it, then recovered the onside kick and went down and threw an interception.
Yeah.
So they feel like they could easily be sitting here at 6-1.
And there's really only one game where they didn't play pretty well, and that was against Ole Miss, who just got their number early. But
yeah, they got smoked.
They've been in every game, and it's really a testament, given how young they are at certain spots, to see them in these games against high-level competition.
Yeah, these are the kind you can need to win. They have an extra offensive lineman on the field, Cam Dewberry. Daniels straight ahead, 1st down. Amari Daniels. 5'9", 215-pounder. That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout.
This is the SEC on ABC. Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One. Couple of redshirt freshman quarterbacks handle themselves well tonight. A lot of Lenore Sellers damage done via improvisation. Marcel Reed led them from 17-7 down last week off the bench to a victory against LSU. They were down 14-0 here tonight. They're poised to take the lead. 1st and goal from the 7. 9th play of the drive. Started on their own 40. Amari Daniels down to the 2.
What a big response here from A&M. I mean, this place was about to explode a couple drives in. They just weathered it. They forced the turnover, and it's been all Aggies really ever since. It's really impressive, and knowing, too, that they'll get the ball to start the 2nd half. A potentially significant sequence here for the Aggies.
Marcel Reed's parents. They're going to let the play clock run down again. South Carolina has just 1 timeout. Ordinarily in this situation, especially as you said, knowing that A&M gets the ball to start the 2nd half, you might use timeouts to try to get yourself another possession. Shane Beamer has only 1 left. So Mike Elko wants to take as much time off this clock as he can. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, Capital One halftime report is just minutes away with Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagandi here in studio. Clemson down by 10. Highlights coming your way. Pitt undefeated in trouble. Down goes Penn State. Reaction after their loss to Ohio State. What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, it was 14-0. The place was going crazy. I just love the resilience and the composure by young Marcel Reed and Texas A&M. They're a running football team, and the run game has got them back in this.
And let's not forget they're doing it without Le'Veon Moss.
No doubt
right?
about it.
It shows
absolutely.
the maturity of this group under Mike Elko. They did not panic, and right now they have the chance to take the lead. Back to you.
Reed's played in big games. He's out of Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville. There's the turnaround the gentleman we're referencing. And he played in back-to-back state championship games when he was in high school as a junior and a senior. You know, it's not the same as playing in front of 77,000 people here, but there's pressure, as you well know.
Oh, yeah. And he, I think, has handled it beautifully. I mean, being thrust into the situation down 10 last week and just handling it like a true pro, it says a lot about his competitive character and being able to just handle the circumstances without allowing it to affect his processing.
We mentioned it's his fourth start. The first one was at Florida. A very tough place to play, and he was terrific there. Threw for 178, 2 touchdowns, and ran for 83 in a score, and was the SEC Freshman of the Week. Play fake. Touchdown, and the Aggies take the lead. Jabreen Barber, a 2-yard touchdown reception.
And just great job here by Reed. You have full flow going from right to left. Reed drifts just a little bit, buys a little time, comes off of his first receiver and finds Barber as his number 2. That's great poise. We just talked about it. Being able to process quickly when the field condenses, it's so difficult. He goes from 1 to 2, no problem. A touchdown, and his parents have to be so proud of that throw, and the reaction tells you all you need to know.
Randy Bond, the extra point, and this place is very quiet now. Jabreen Barber injured at the start of the year. Did not play in that loss to Notre Dame. He's the difference maker when healthy. He had a Liz Frank foot injury. ESPN's NFL Countdown. They have you covered for week 9 in the NFL. The Sunday Crew starts at 10 a.m. Then SVP and the Monday Night Crew get started at 6 p.m. live from Arrowhead Stadium. Both shows are on the ESPN app. The game is Tampa Bay against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City undefeated. Peyton and Eli will be on ESPN2 Monday night. The Chiefs, the only undefeated team remaining in the NFL. Jared Zirkle will kick off. Juju McDowell back deep.
It'll be interesting to see what Shane Beamer decides to do here. All the momentum on the side of the Aggies. Go try to steal some points, or does he take it to the half and try to regroup?
And Zirkle's kick will be a touchback. A&M on a 20-3 run after falling behind 14-0. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy. My guess to answer your question would be that Shane Beamer plays it conservatively here. You know, they're really not an explosive offensive team. They have just the one timeout. They've been prone to the lost fumbles. We've seen one of those tonight. So I think they play it conservatively and take it to the house.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, you have a young quarterback that's played well tonight, made some good decisions. You have a tenacious defense that's always seemingly turning over the opposition, but see what they do.
They've lost 9 fumbles this season. Sanders, who was out for a while, and Molly told us walking gingerly on the sideline back in there. He lost 1, and the clock stops as he went out of bounds.
If I'm Shane Beamer, I would tell everybody don't go out of bounds because they have a timeout here. They could potentially steal a possession. Get down in bounds if you're going to go down.
Lenore Sellers throwing a deep ball, And that one is nearly intercepted. There is a flag down. He's trying to get it to Nick Arbor. Dalton Brooks was closest to it. There's a flag back behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 5. Low hit. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Shamar Turner, the senior from DeSoto, Texas.
And this is a really dangerous play. Hitting Lenora Sellers low. He's going to the ground. So dangerous. And one there, that's a good call by the official. And now with a little better field position, maybe they do start to ramp up the pressure a little bit.
It's been one of the negatives for A&M in this terrific start to the year. They're a heavily penalized team, 69 penalty yards per game, 115th in the country. Throw and a catch, and now they might pick up the tempo here. Nice diving catch by Mazio Bennett. They're almost to midfield. Clock running, 43 seconds. One timeout for each team. Sellers bounced off a couple of hits and managed to get out of bounds. Herrera's long field goal is 46.
You got to make sure that that timeout that you have in your back pocket, if you're South Carolina, you save that one for the kicker. So got to be smart. Get the ball out of your hands if you're Lenora Sellers. Everything's got to go past the sticks.
A blitz from deep from A&M, and a nice catch. Mazio Bennett collared at the 39-yard line by B.J. Mays. Crowd wanted a penalty. They're not going to get it. Clock stops to move the chains. And now it runs.
Mazio Bennett had to come off the field. That's a critical issue right there.
And here's a late substitution, which they can do because South Carolina substituted.
South Carolina, their third and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
And that was just unlucky for Shane Beamer, who has to spend that third timeout. Mazio Bennett a little shaken up after the play, and he's struggling. It's a great catch, but he's dropped down. You see that right ankle kind of get rolled up on.
Well, it was the tackle around the head, I think, that got the attention of the crowd, and then a little head slap there at the end. And he had to come off the field, and because they substituted, A&M had to be given the opportunity to substitute. Bennett's their leading receiver among their wide receiver group. Their leading receiver overall is Joshua Simon. Let's bring in Bill Lamagnier. Bill, did you see anything wrong there on the tackle on Bennett?
You know, the contact, the hand up around the head is not a foul, but the slap he made afterwards, that one was totally unnecessary. Now, him going off the field as if he'd gone off as an injured player, you would have had the potential for a 10-second runoff. So doing the substitute saved one of their timeouts.
They had to call it anyways, though, but they could have. That was just unfortunate because you want to save that timeout for the end. But the slap there that Bill referenced, I mean,
that needs to be flagged.
That's one that probably should have been, and then they'd be in field goal range, which totally changes the operation.
And now they've used their last timeout. They've lost their most productive wide receiver. Again, the rush goes past Sellers. He goes out of bounds in what is now borderline field goal range. Would be about 53 yards from there. The longest attempt for Herrera is 51, and that was late in the game at Alabama, and he missed it.
Just can't take a sack here. It's the one thing you can't do if you're the quarterback. Ball's got to get out, even if it's incomplete. Still live to play third down.
And they need to get out of bounds or get past the chains to get a first down and stop the clock and maybe spike it. He is stripped of the ball. It is picked up by A&M. There is a flag down. Cassius Howell runs it back to the 33-yard line. He knocked it out and picked it up, but there's a flag in the secondary. Back at the 21-yard line, the other end of the field. We mentioned all the lost fumbles for South Carolina, and it was Sellers who had lost 4 entering
Before
tonight.
the fumble, holding, defense number 20.
What a huge break for the Gamecocks. B.J. Mays called for their 6th penalty. South Carolina's not had one assessed.
And B.J. Mays grabs the shoulder pad as Nick Harbor's trying to work on the out route. It's an easy call, but he's bailed out. This was potentially an enormous turn of events, but that was a pretty easy call as you saw number 7, Larbadan, taking off to the outside, and he was grabbed by Mays around the collar.
Well, with 8 seconds left and no timeouts, Shane Beamer isn't going to run the risk of a problem here. So he's going to give Herrera a chance to tie it. A 44-yard try, made one from 25. He's the first-year starting kicker in his 6th year in the program. Waited behind some terrific kickers. And that one has the Greg McElroy draw to tie the game. So with just one timeout, Shane Beamer elected to try to advance the ball down the field, and it paid off. Helped by that huge penalty for the hold against B.J. Mays.
The hold against B.J. Mays and the roughing the passer on Shamar Turner. So 2 Aggie penalties results in great field position and the opportunity to steal some points before the half. That's a great job of taking advantage of the Aggies' mistakes.
Well, he went 49 yards and 25 of them were penalty yards. So it's a 20-20 tie. That feels like a huge score for South Carolina to go in at the half tied. And it looks like they're going to abandon the drop kick kickoff. They're going to put Herrera back out there. A squib kick. And there's still 1 second on the clock. Kick was handled by Solomon DeShields. Tuesday, the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Reese, Greg.
Yeah, we'll be there.
And the guys will project the 12-team field of coaches' reactions, a live interview with the committee chairman, Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel. That's at 7 on ESPN and the app. There's nothing else going on Tuesday night, so I'm sure that'll get a huge audience.
You'll watch for us,
I
won't you?
certainly will watch.
Wonderful.
Reed takes the knee. Very interesting first half here. And for all of the talk about the defensive lines, pretty high scoring half, 20 points apiece. 255 yards of offense for South Carolina. That's almost a game's worth. 222 for A&M. The 6 penalties really hurt Mike Elko's team. Here's Molly.
Coach, a penalty kept South Carolina's drive alive to tie the game. What's your message in the locker room about what it'll take to win this?
Yeah, a lot of focus, a lot more composure. We got to stop committing penalties and give them yards. We got to tackle better.
For your offense, a huge 4th down conversion for that score that led to that score. How have you seen that group battle through adversity?
Yeah, I think we responded well. We obviously started slow. We were able to get this back in. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. We got to make some plays.
What can you tell us about the status of Le'Veon Moss?
He's out for the rest of the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and perhaps beyond, given how that looked. Tied at 20 at the half. We'll send you to the Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is the SEC on ABC. Saturday night football presented by Capital One from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Gamecocks on homecoming raced off to a 14-0 lead. Fell behind late in the half, and now we're tied at 20 as we head for the second half. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, that had to feel like a win to go into the half tied if you're Texas A&M. There were a lot of things that went wrong for them in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it was all Gamecocks early, and it could have spiraled out of control, but they kind of weathered the storm, and then they really answered. But a lot of self-inflicted mistakes. 6 penalties, 58 yards that led to South Carolina points, and so many different times they had Lenora Sellers in the backfield wrapped up with defenders all over them, and they couldn't finish. So if you're A&M, you got to feel pretty optimistic with your...
Sellers had 11 carries for South Carolina, their quarterback. 7 of them were on scrambles when he was pressured and took off running. The kickoff, the 20-yard line. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Carolina wide receiver Mazio Bennett left the game at the end of the first half after a hard hit by A&M. He was frustrated it wasn't called for a penalty. He said when a guy gets hit near the head and can't walk off the field on his own, you should get a targeting or at least a face mask call. So he's going to send that to the league. He said he wants Lenora Sellers to continue to run the ball, but the biggest adjustments, he said, will be for his defense. He's harping, getting a turnover, forcing takeaways.
On first down, Amari Daniels gets 6. He's taken over as the lead back. Demetrius Knight made the tackle. They're playing without Le'Veon Moss. Leg injury in the first half. He's not going to return. Daniels has done very well. He's averaged 9.5 per carry. He's rushed for 76 yards. Bell trying to imitate Lenora Sellers and take off running when pressured, but he got tripped up for no gain. Here's Moss back on the sideline.
Just hated for that young man. It's been so important to this team, and a big third down to start the second half.
Third down and 4. A&M 2 out of 7 on third down tonight. This is shorter than what they've averaged on third down. Deep drop, and then Bell on target for a first down. Jahdae Walker, who did not play in the first half because he was ejected for targeting in the second half last week against LSU.
And it's a great job by Marcel Reed. Climbing in the pocket, you have great edge rushers for South Carolina who get pushed high. He steps up and delivers a throw for a conversion. That was a good job moving up and threatening the line of scrimmage.
Well, for all the talk coming in about these two outstanding defensive lines, and they are terrific, there has not been a sack in this game, in large part because of the elusiveness of these two redshirt freshman quarterbacks. Noah Thomas dropped for a loss. Judge Collier, the cornerback, dropped it for a loss of 2.
Both these defenses have to feel decent about their personnel, but man, they had a lot of big plays given up in the run game in the first half. Let's see if they kind of secure the perimeter. Both A&M and South Carolina, a lot of big runs given up, which is out of character.
A&M came in 10th in the nation, rushing for 221 per game. They're about on pace for that. They're up to 123 yards rushing right now. On 2nd and 12. Well blocked by the Maroon Goons, as they call them, up front. And a diving catch by Jabri Barber for an 8-yard pickup.
Part of the reason why you move to Marcel Reed is for down and distances like this. You can really do anything when you're in third and manageable. You can run it with the quarterback. You can get an empty formation. You can hand it off. You can go zone read. This gives you a lot of versatility as a play caller with a mobile quarterback at center, under center.
On third down and 4. Low throw and an incomplete pass intended for Barber, with Nick Eamon-Wari in coverage. The junior from right here in the Columbia area out of Irmo High School. Off a huge performance last week. He had 2 interceptions against Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, but in their last game, one of which he returned for a touchdown. So Tyler White will punt. Jalen Kilgore back deep for it. And a fair catch made by Kilgore. 42-yard punt. South Carolina on offense for the first time in the second half after this. great scene here at Williams-Brice Stadium, home of the Gamecocks. Homecoming weekend here in Columbia. 20-20 the score. It was 14-0 early for South Carolina, but A&M survived that early blitz. First play of the second half on offense for South Carolina. Rocket Sanders gets a first down. And an 11-yard run and more damage outside. That's been a big problem for the Texas A&M defense, which Greg came into tonight having held 5 of their last 6 opponents to 100 yards rushing or fewer. And the Gamecocks had 169 in the first half.
Yeah, I think what's probably most troubling is just how much has been out to the outside, kind of taken their great defensive line out of the game plan.
And this was a problem in the first half as well. They get near Sellers. They can't touch him, and he runs for a first down. 11 more off a scramble for Lenora Sellers.
And just a great job, too, by Sellers. When you see the right side, Scorton's up, so you just take off. I mean, when Scorton overruns the quarterback, you go. And there's plenty of room right there. When the rush lanes are not held and the integrity isn't good, quarterback taking off can hurt you bad.
Scorton projects as a top 10 pick in the NFL by Mel Kiper. He has not been much of a factor tonight. It looks like a lot of times they've taken themselves out of plays. Raheem Sanders carries. The gain by Sellers on the last play gives him a career high in rushing yards for a game. He's up to 88. At 91, the previous high was 88 against LSU. And in that game, he had a 75-yard touchdown run, longest ever by a South Carolina quarterback.
And one thing you notice, too, as a right-handed passer, I mean, a lot of his movement is to the right. The Aggies are going to make an adjustment because almost all of his scrambles come when he's moving to his right.
He runs to the right. And he's very near first down, about a yard short. Knocked down by Will Lee. And he's up to 96 yards rushing now. In the first half, here comes the third down, and then we'll tell you what Sellers accomplished. 3rd down and 1. And it's Sanders ripping through the hole. One man might catch him. Touchdown! 52 yards. Raheem Sanders puts South Carolina back on top, and the Alex Herrera extra point makes it 27-20.
South Carolina getting a stop defensively, and their offense gets it starting the second half as Rocket Sanders finds pay dirt, and the Gamecocks are back on top. For tonight's Sonic Drive-In recap, it's the Rocket Sanders touchdown. You got 3 for 3. You know what that means? Number 3, Ratcliffe has to make the tackle, but watch this. He guesses wrong. He goes to the inside. Sanders goes to the outside, and there's nobody home. Nothing but green grass between Rocket Sanders and the end zone because Ratcliffe guessed wrong, and the running back made a great move to find the open hole, and South Carolina starts the second half with a bang.
What has happened to the A&M rush defense? They've given up 252 yards rushing. And we still have more than 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. E.J. Smith's going to bring back the Alex Herrera kickoff. He got upended as he approached the 20-yard line. So Sanders, bothered by a bum ankle lately, has been ineffective the bye week. Coach Beamer said did him a lot of good. He was explosive on the practice field this week. And he's rushed for 123 yards. That touchdown, the second longest rush of the season. The previous long was 66. against LSU. That was the game in which he injured his ankle.
He looks faster, though. I mean, even on some of the shorter runs, he just has a little more burst tonight.
Here's Amari Daniels. 7 lead changes in this game. The 252 allowed by A&M on the ground tonight is the most they've given up since 2022 in a game at Auburn.
Big difference from a week ago when I think they gave up like
24 yards rushing to LSU on 23 carries.
Very different approach tonight. In South Carolina, man, they've answered the challenge.
Reed throws it a little bit too long for Noah Thomas, with O'Donnell Fortune in coverage. 3rd down and 6 upcoming.
There's a big 3rd down for Texas A&M. Nothing doing on their first drive of the second half. Now running the risk of potentially going 3 and out with all the momentum on the South Carolina side. So a big down here for Marcel Reed, the freshman.
He got it off short. Well, that'll be very close to a first down. Cyrus Allen went lunging toward the pylon, and he's short by just a little bit, as we will see from the progressive pylon camera.
And the ball brings him back just ever so slightly. It looks like great effort. Just the thigh down before the ball was extended, though, and one that they probably need to take a peek at either way. Progressive pylon cam. Where is the ball? Extended, knees down right there.
Knees down, which is why it was spotted well. Then a very quiet night in the replay booth. I don't want to jinx it. Ken Switzer, the replay officials, had a quiet night. So is Bill Lamonier. But Bill, what say you?
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I don't mind a little bit night off.
Yeah, you look like you're having a nice bagel there during the half.
It was good. He's got his shin down, so that ball is short right at this point here.
Right.
So the call on the field is correct and should be the way it is.
Yes, it is. They got it right. And now the decision to make for Mike Elko on 4th down and less than a yard.
I think you go for it. I mean, the offensive line, the way they've been just pounding away, the only time they really got stopped short was on a QB sneak by their 180-pound quarterback. So I think just pound away at Clayton White's defense.
Well, they were stopped early in their own territory. Amari Daniels, the running back. No Le'Veon Moss. Daniels chopped down. Did he lunge forward to get it? Debo Williams came flying up. Looks like they're going to mark it short, and comfortably so by about a foot. They did. They stopped him on downs again.
And what a play by the linebacker Debo Williams. He sees it immediately, but look, he goes low. And you can stop the running back's momentum if you go low and you take his legs out for under. If you meet him in the hole, he has a chance to get momentum and push you forward. But the low man wins there, and a massive stop by the outstanding 5th-year senior linebacker.
Their leading tackler last year was first-team All-SEC. They are going to review it. It's a huge spot, obviously.
Man, that is so hard to meet the running back in the hole like that, too. I mean, he timed it perfectly, and the execution to go low and take him out was an incredible
I think
play.
some of us old-timers just don't like that short yardage formation. You know, when you need a foot and the quarterback's in the gun and the running back's way off the line of scrimmage like that.
I understand that. But the thing about it is running back has full momentum going downhill. I don't have a problem with that at all. They stay in shotgun 90% of the time at A&M, so it doesn't really bother me, but it's just poorly executed by the interior of the offensive line. Now in that run through by Williams.
Well, from that, it looks like he wound up, at least his helmet did, beyond that yellow line, but where was the ball? The first fourth down miss was A&M on the South Carolina 34. They didn't get it, and South Carolina used the short field to score a touchdown. Again, no Le'Veon Moss in that short yardage situation.
The ruling on the field stands.
Yeah, it's very hard to overturn those spots. They marked it just across the 31-yard line.
Thank you.
So Debo Williams, fifth-year senior. We talked about the veterans. Not highly recruited coming out of high school in Delaware. Matter of fact, he was going to the University of Delaware. But COVID canceled the season. He never played a game there. Wound up transferring here, and he's been a stud for this South Carolina defense. And finally they get to Sellers, but they can't get him down. And he throws out of bounds. Boy, he is so strong, but even still, it looked for sure like it was going to be the first sack of the night.
And I just don't know how he escaped from this. Sanford's off the left. Looked like it took a second even for Sellers to figure it out. Kind of wheels him around and throws him, thinking he's throwing him to the ground, but Sellers too strong. I mean, how many missed sacks tonight for the Aggies?
Should have been a 9-yard loss, and one that would have taken him out of field goal range. Now Sanders weaves down to the 25-yard line. They're in field goal range. Damian Sanford, who whiffed on the last play, had help there from Albert Regis. 3rd down and 4. More than midway through the third quarter. That's a stunning number. South Carolina's been a good rushing team, not great. Middle of the pack in the country. Here's a blitz from deep. That ball to the end zone and over the head of Jared Brown with double coverage there for Texas A&M. Will Lee and Bryce Anderson. And I think you have to kick the field goal, don't you?
Absolutely.
Take a 2-score lead.
Idea of taking the shot to Brown, but ball's in the air just way too long and allows Bryce Anderson to get up over the top. But that's a great job by Texas A&M's defense. You have sudden change, 4th down stop. All the momentum's on the side of South Carolina. You get off the field immediately and force the 3. I know they get points, but man, that's going to feel like a huge morale boost on the sideline.
Herrera's 2 for 2 tonight. He's 12 for 16 for the year. That's 4 misses, which doesn't seem like it's bad, but that's more field goals than they had missed in the previous 3 years combined. But he's 3 for 3 tonight, and it's a 2-score game. They still can't get LaNorris Sellers on the ground. Almost time for the first college football playoff rankings release. Be revealed Tuesday on ESPN 7 o'clock. College football playoff top 25 show presented by Allstate. The Allstate playoff predictor is also giving us numbers relative to Texas A&M's chances to reach the SEC championship game. Currently 54%. They're the only undefeated team in conference play at 5-0. Obviously the numbers get better with a win, go down with a loss. A loss tonight would drop them into a group of 5 one-loss teams, although we should point out what Tennessee's playing right now. And they were 2-loss team in the conference. But it's interesting, and I think the reason why the numbers are just kind of 50-50, even though they're alone atop, is they do have a game with Texas to finish the year.
They do. And a road trip at Auburn, which is a difficult place to go play, and we've seen many of championship dreams die on the field at Jordan-Hare. So I think when you look at this game, coupled with the road trip to Auburn, right before the Texas game, it's still a very challenging November for the Aggies.
On first down, Marcel Reed throws low. Don't forget to go to ESPN.com/All-State Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff. Tennessee is a one-loss team in the league, along with LSU, Texas, and Georgia. 6-yard gain on that play to Jahdae Walker. Interesting talking with Mike Elko last night. He said he thinks Georgia is the best team in the SEC.
They certainly have looked like it at times, but not in the first half today.
They definitely looked like it in the win at Texas. Amari Daniels comes up a yard short of the first down. So down 2 scores again. They rallied from 14-0 down in the first half to take the lead, and a late South Carolina field goal in the final seconds of the half sent them to the dressing room tied at 20.
Short yardage situations have been a little bit of a problem for the Aggies tonight. Another one here on 3rd and 1.
3rd down. They're 3 out of 10 on 3rd down. Twice they've been stopped on 4th down and 1 in their own territory. And they're going to have another 4th down and 1. Debo Williams again. And Monkel Goodwine.
I mean, the play is almost the exact same as the one they ran on 4th and short a second ago. You have left to right misdirection. Debo Williams goes right through the gap, makes the contact behind the line of scrimmage, and they get off the field yet again.
And they're going to punt. I understand they've stuffed you twice, but now there's 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and you're down by 10. And it feels like surrender. And not a great punt. High but short from Trevor White. And the fair catch made by Jalen Kilgore. Are you surprised they didn't try again?
Really?
And why do they keep running up the middle when it's not working?
And their one massive run earlier in the game that resulted in a touchdown was off tackle to the right. So at some point, maybe try something on the edge, something out to the outside. But I don't understand why you'd punt there and go for it a moment earlier. Just did the analytics change, or did they just?
I doubt it. I mean, I think if anything,
sensing that his team really isn't doing a great job blocking up front on short yard situations.
ESPN analytics said they should have gone for that. I would think most analytics do. Here's a blitz off the corner. And a lot of damage going to the right. That was Oscar Attaway, tackled by Shamar Stewart, a 1-yard gain. They do lead the country in Shamars, particularly among the defensive line. Stewart and Turner. Gets confusing when you're meeting with the coaches and they talk about Shamar, and you always have to ask which one.
Right, and they both wear single digits. One wears number 5, one wears number 4, and they both can wreck the game for the offense.
And credit to this offensive line, although they've been helped a lot by Sellers' ability to escape. But this was an offensive line that had given up 32 sacks entering tonight, 2nd most in the country, fewer than only Oklahoma. And they'd been sacked on 13.5% of their dropbacks for the year, which was most in the country. They don't even throw it that much, and they still had 32 sacks. But no sacks for either defense tonight, in large part because Sellers has escaped over and over again. They kept him in the pocket. That time there's a flag thrown in the secondary. Jared Brown, the intended receiver, and he is woofing at Will Lee, who's giving it back to him.
Holding. Defense number 26. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And a killer on 3rd down and 9. There's 7th penalty. South Carolina's not been assessed for one, and there's no question about that penalty.
Yeah, that was the easiest call in the world for the official. The throw was high, but I mean, just completely draped all over him. Both arms wrapped around Jared Brown, and Mike Elko's got to be so frustrated. That's now 7 penalties for nearly 80 yards. Just not good.
It's the 4th South Carolina first down by penalty. Attaway banged down at the 46. 4-yard gain. Damian Sanford, sophomore from Katy, Texas, in on the stop.
This defense needs to answer the challenge here. I mean, this is your superstar group. You got a young quarterback, down 10. You've been in this situation before. You were last week, so no need to panic. But the defense last week responded to the challenge by forcing several turnovers. Now they got to find a way to get off the field and disrupt the rhythm of this offense.
Design run again. They lean to the right, and Sellers is out of bounds at midfield, a couple of yards short of the first down. The penalty disparity is jarring. They were penalized, A&M, 6 times in the first half, none for South Carolina. The +6 in accepted penalties, the most in a first half in a Texas A&M game since 2010, when they were flagged for 6 more accepted penalties in a game November 13th of 2010 at Baylor. So this is a rarity. Sellers is up to an even 100 yards rushing. First of his career. Raheem Sanders, the running back, and he drove the defense back for a moment, but Damian Sanford slowed him enough and got help to stop him short of the first down, and now it's a Shane Beamer decision on 4th down and less than a yard.
He's been aggressive all night. Would anticipate him being aggressive again here.
Can the A&M defense get a 4th down stop on 4th and 1, as South Carolina's done twice tonight?
South Carolina's had a ton of success running to the right and running up inside, but this time there's a bunch of defenders on the right side of the center.
There was movement. He got back. No flag, no whistle. Play clock at 2. And they're going to take a delay of game penalty. Crowd's booing. It's the first South Carolina penalty of the night. And he wanted an offside call against A&M.
Yeah, number 5, Shamar Turner. Watch him jump here into the neutral zone. I mean, right there, you can either snap the ball, and it looked like the right guard, Simpkins, tried to reach out and kind of stop him, but they've kind of adjusted that rule a little bit to where it's not an automatic offsides if you can get back in time.
And I'm not sure the offensive lineman actually made contact. It is reminiscent. We can bring Bill in on this if he wants to. Matt Austin talked about that. You can jump back as you're the offensive player in response to the movement, but you know it has to be kind of a natural. You can't be able to reach out and slap you.
Correct. Slapping him across the helmet.
That's exactly true. Just the way you explained it, Sean.
Well, thank you, Bill. You know, I do listen to Matt Austin occasionally. Not often.
Your batting average on getting things right was comparable to that of Aaron Judge in the first 4 games of the World Series.
Jabri Barber, the fair catch of a 39-yard punt. Shane Beamer still hot.
Understandably, but that is an adjustment. I think in years past, they probably would have been an offside, but they've adjusted that to give the defense a little bit more grace to be able to get back onside.
Are you surprised they didn't go for that 4th and inches?
I am, especially with how they've been really controlling the line of scrimmage. There haven't been a lot of negative plays forced by A&M, so I would have run it.
Minute 37, 3rd quarter. Texas A&M down by 10. Marcel Reed, good catch on a ball behind Cyrus Allen, and a flag down at the end of it. A 13-yard completion to Allen, a transfer from Louisiana Tech.
Personal foul. Face mask, number 20 defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Judge Collier.
Looks like as he's going to clean it up.
I think they got the wrong guy. It's Nick Eamon-Warry.
Number 7 there, Nick Eamon-Warry. Did he ever grasp the face mask? Either way, you saw the official see the helmet turn to the left.
So it was a judge wrongly accused.
Look at that. It's multiple judge references in a couple moments.
We're not going back to the baseball. Here's Reed on the run. Boy, he is impressive. So poised. Jabri Barber, another catch. 16-yard gain.
And just watch how effortless this move in the pocket is. I mean, it's great pass rush. You know your tackles are going to have their hands full all night, so you can make them right by stepping up and then evading. And great job there.
6 catches for Barber. Not much there for Amari Daniels. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage as we go under a minute to go. It was Judge Collier who made the tackle, the sophomore corner.
Just watch Marcel Reed, man. Just his comfort level moving in the pocket. It never feels like he's going to panic. Things aren't moving too fast for him. I mean, he's just so in control. He's very decisive and has really an advanced feel for a guy that young.
Connor Wigman was the starter at the beginning of the year. He suffered a shoulder injury in game 2. Reed started the next 3. They won them all. Wigman return was excellent against Missouri, but really had a tough time last week against LSU. Daniels chased out by Demetrius tonight. Reed came in and led them back to victory. Mike Elko told us last night, Reed is clearly the quarterback. This isn't, let's see how it goes, and maybe Wigman comes back next week. Although, as Mike said last night, if you told me last week sitting in the meeting room that Marcel Reed 1 week later would be clearly the starting quarterback, he said I would have said the same thing about Wigman in the meeting a week ago. Things can change. End of the third quarter, 10-point lead for South Carolina. Our coverage on ABC will return after this message and word from our ABC stations.
Coach, what do you need to see from Marcel Reed on this third down?
Yeah, we got to convert this third down. We've had a horrible time converting third downs. We got to get this one. We got to go get a touchdown and get us back in this game.
What went into the decision to punt on 4th and 1 with just under 5 minutes left?
Our inability to get a half a yard on multiple occasions.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Here is 3rd down and 2. Could be 4-down territory, although a field goal would make it a 1-score game. And Bond has already made a couple from 50 plus. They didn't run it up the middle this time, and Marcel Reed gets the first down. They tried something different in that short yardage situation after going 3 for their previous 11 on 3rd down.
Yeah, just a little bit of misdirection here too. They have the back Smith going across, handling the edge because of the speed, and Marcel Reed's able to slide to the outside and fall forward for a nice conversion. They need to continue to work outside because up the middle they have not had a lot of success.
After the 7-yard gain against an awkward little connection there, and it's an interception. O'Donnell Fortune down the sideline. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, 86 yards.
And the intercepting player stepping out of bounds at the 16-yard line. First down, South Carolina.
And that's at his own 16-yard line. So instead of an 86-yard return for a touchdown, it's a 2-yard return. And it does look like his left foot is on the boundary there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the officials are all over it, and while deflating, let's take a look right here. The left foot. It looks like he is out right there.
Well,
just a little bit.
It's close.
Very close. Very, very close.
That one was close too. The second step. They had 2 defensive touchdowns last week. Fumble return, scoop and score by Tonka Hemingway, and an interception return by Nick Eamon-Warry. They almost had another one there. Again, some problems on the exchanges for Reed. That is their first turnover of the night. And the first turnover that Marcel Reed has been involved in this year. He hadn't lost a fumble, and he had not thrown an interception. Sellers throws it deep, double coverage, and incomplete. Looking for Nick Harbor. His 6'5", 235, and an All-American track athlete. Crazy you can run as fast as he does. Run a 10-1-100 meters at 235 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you know where he's at all the time when he's on the field because there's not a single guy out there that's as fast as him. So A&M did a good job of staying disciplined, staying over the top, not allowing Harvard to get a nice, easy jump ball. They had two guys on him.
Only the third pass attempt in this half for South Carolina. They've all been incomplete for Lenoris Sellers. Here's an A&M blitz. They hit him after the throw. It's still caught by Joshua Simon across midfield and finally ridden out of bounds. Trey Jones III made the tackle, but it wasn't easy.
And this is a great job by Lenoris Sellers anticipating this throw. And how about Simon batting it up to himself, reeling it in with lots of room out in front. That ball was thrown pretty high. That ball was thrown pretty hard. But the veteran Simon, tight end, reels it in for another big play.
The 40-yard play, 33 after the catch. Sanders wrestled down behind the line of scrimmage by Cassius Howell. A transfer from Bowling Green. He's had a nice year. 1-yard loss. South Carolina up by 10 with the ball. Fourth quarter will not be in a big hurry to snap the ball, you would think.
Not at this point, but it's imperative for A&M. Probably not going to be enough possessions to make it a 3-score deficit to come back. So you got to hold them to at least 3 or hopefully 0 here if you're the Aggies.
Lenoris Sellers given time off the receiver's hands and up in the air perilously. Try to get it to Harbor, who is still developing as a wide receiver. He looked like a track athlete on that one.
Yeah, he did. Might have felt that presence on the inside. But that's one you got to reel in if you're 6'5", 235 pounds.
Spoken like a true quarterback. Fired one right at the guy's head. 3 out of 10 on third down. It's a screen, and I think he did that intentionally. You could tell that was going to get blown up. Threw it in the general direction of Gage Larvadan.
I think he did. That was a pretty good decision there by Lenoris Sellers, because it looked like number 1 Bryce Anderson was going to take off and maybe pick that thing off if he tried to throw it accurately to Larvadan.
At this juncture, just don't make a huge mistake.
How their defense has been playing, it's just ball control, smart decisions, punt, play the field position game as you try to nurse this lead.
A&M has not scored here in the second half. Flag down as Kai Kroger punts. And they can't rescue it at the goal line, but there is a flag down. I would think Mike Elko would turn that down. Why give Kroger another chance to put it in the coffin corner?
Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. That penalty will be enforced from the 20-yard line.
That makes sense. Take it on the end of the play, and they'll start at the 25. Shane Beamer looking for one of the biggest wins of his tenure here in Columbia. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Sold-out Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. More than 77,000 on hand watching the Gamecocks host Texas A&M, the only remaining undefeated team in conference play in the Southeastern Conference. Mike Elko's squad 5-0 in league play, but down by 10 with 12:44 to go. Aggies start from their own 25, and that ball is way out of bounds. Intended for Noah Thomas. Here's Molly.
Yeah, South Carolina edge Dylan Stewart was very vocal on the sideline, telling his D linemen they can't block us. They have nothing going up the middle, so we need to be ready for them to keep going outside, but they cannot block us. He wants them to lock up the edges and take away A&M's confidence once and for all, guys.
I think the most stunning thing in this entire game is no sacks on either team. Marcel Reed gets 4. Kyle Kennard made the tackle. An overflow crowd here tonight, 80,298. It's almost 3,000 more than capacity.
Critical 3rd and 6 here for Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator. If I'm him, I'm doing whatever I have to do to find a matchup for Jabri Barber. He's here in the slot. That's the guy I'm going after. He's the most reliable slot receiver with great quickness.
12 minutes to go. Marcel Reed got rid of it. Was he down? He managed to throw it forward. Looked like his knee might have been down. Either way, it's going to be 4th down, and they're going to punt. TJ Sanders got to Reed.
And how about this rush by TJ Sanders, just right between the left guard Shanahan, who's in starting the night for the injured Chase Basantis, and Bayou, the center. He just splits them, drops Reed, and he does get rid of it before that knee hits the ground. But a great rush there by a very underrated tackle.
And Clayton White was quick to point that out yesterday. He said, you know, one of the reasons Stewart and Kennard came into this game with the sack numbers, the tackle for loss numbers, those guys in the middle are terrific. And if you double team the ends, these guys in the middle, including TJ Sanders, are going to cause some serious problems. Part of a 3-man rotation in the middle with Boogie Huntley and Tonka Hemingway. The punt by Tyler White is a 50-yarder.
Yeah, I think those defensive tackles really for both teams, very underrated, underappreciated, but especially in South Carolina. Plus, they played a ton of football. I mean, Sanders, Hemingway, and Huntley, but 5th-year senior, 4th-year junior. I mean, these guys have been around for a long time. They're grown men, and they're playing like it tonight.
They'll look to kill some clock. Raheem Sanders, no gain. Scooby Williams made the tackle. Transfer from Florida. He played last year for Jay Bateman, who's the inside linebacker coach there, now the defensive coordinator for Mike Elko.
You need to be in a hurry if you're Lenora Sellers, and if you're Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator, probably don't want to get too aggressive. I mean, you've gotten a little aggressive at times, and some big runs have occurred. So kind of keep it in front of you defensively and hope that defensive line will hold up.
Well, there's an injured Carolina offensive lineman, Torricelli Simpkins, the right guard. Timeout, 11:13 to go, and a 10-point lead for the Gamecocks.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by the all-new Sonic Smasher. Live free. Eat Sonic.
The frustrating year for South Carolina, agonizing against ranked opponents. 4th quarter leads here against LSU. On the road at Alabama, they could not finish. Can they do it tonight against the top team in the SEC and the number 10 team in the country? Leading by 10, 11:13 to go. Torricelli Simpkins out of the game. Trovon Baugh is in at right guard. South Carolina's had the same 5 offensive linemen start every game this season. They've had one of their best nights tonight, helped by the elusiveness of Lenora Sellers. And he sidesteps the rush again and dumps it off for Raheem Sanders. And that's a nightmare if you're the Aggies. It looked like it was going to be a sack. Albert Regis didn't get him, and it took Torian York to bring him down after a 5-yard gain.
And it's just amazing. I mean, time and time again, Regis this time sidestepped by Lenora Sellers. And how about Rocket Sanders? I mean, does he look different tonight or what? Just refusing to go down, showing some shiftiness that we haven't seen in a couple weeks. But that was a great, great play to make it 3rd and manageable.
Big 3rd down. They pick it up. Fresh set of downs. They kill a lot more clock. Sellers again gets away and completes it. Rocket Sanders flying down the sideline and pulled down inside the 40 by Solomon DeShields. That's the story of the night. Sellers escaping again and again.
Well, it's because number 0, Scooby Williams, is so worried about Lenora Sellers' legs. He's in spy. They just lose track of Rocket Sanders. He's working against DeShields, but DeShields kind of loses him as he gets out of the backfield. Sellers keeps his eyes downfield and delivers another strike for a big conversion.
129 yards rushing and 92 receiving for Sanders after that 36-yard play that keeps the clock running. Now under 9.5 to go. Oscar Attaway dropped for a loss of 1 back to the 40.
It's amazing. I mean, I've been calling Rocket Sanders games for feels like forever. I mean, I've watched this kid, I feel like, grow up dating back to his time at Arkansas. Just, he hasn't been the same guy the last couple of years, but my goodness, man, tonight, that's the Rocket Sanders that we know and recognize as SEC football fans. Just a tremendous performance.
Well, one of the best in the country 2 years ago. Last year, a lot of injuries. Sellers again got it off, and Attaway can't catch it. An incomplete pass that stops the clock for the Aggies. 2 years ago, Rocket Sanders at Arkansas had a huge year, rushed for more than 1,400 yards, and was first team all-conference. That is about 300 yards more than South Carolina rushed for all of last season.
That doesn't put things in perspective or what? They're clearly making running the ball a priority, and Sanders is turning back the clock. Man, it's great to see.
He ran for 1443 for the Hogs 2 years ago. The Gamecocks last year rushed for 1,021. Sellers too high, and another clock stopper. Gage Larvadan, the transfer from Miami, Ohio, where he was their leading receiver last year, couldn't take that in.
It's got to be frustrating for Dow Loggins, the offensive coordinator, and Shane Beamer. You call 2 pretty high percentage passes. You call a screen, and then you call a little underneath route that's 3 or 4 yards downfield. Both wind up incomplete, and that costs you 80 seconds worth of clock potentially.
There's Kai Kroger to punt. His 4th. Oh, it's muffed, but Jabri Barber got back on it. And the Aggies will start from their 11. The SEC on ABC next Saturday starts at noon. Florida against number 6 Texas. Florida playing better as the year goes along. They gave Georgia a scare today. Georgia will be in Oxford to take on Ole Miss, which was terrific today at Arkansas. That's at 3:30. And then Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One is Alabama and LSU at 7:30. All 3 games on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere. Texas, Alabama, LSU all on bye weeks. Ole Miss won 63-31 today. Jackson Dart at 5:15 passing. Noah Thomas the catch out of bounds close to the first down.
I know we're not even to the midway point here of the 4th quarter, but it really feels like it could, with how South Carolina could run the football and how Lenora Sellers has played, feels like A&M almost has to get points on this drive.
And they're picking up the tempo here. Marcel Reed. These 2 quarterbacks are so elusive. They just have a great feel of where to go. He runs for 11 when it looked like we might finally have the first sack of the night by either team.
It's like the quarterback saw the bulletin board material intended for the defensive lines, and they're making them pay.
Reed out wide. Noah Thomas trying to break a tackle. Lunges out across the 46. So Donald Fortune made the stop.
I'm Colin Klein. I'm keeping this tempo. I mean, Reed looks comfortable, bouncing back nicely from the interception, the bad decision he made earlier. Keep with this tempo.
Colin Klein calling the plays. The pump fake, and then open was Thomas. They didn't connect. Colin Klein and Mike Elko had no relationship at all. Mike Elko said he just kept track of offensive coordinators we thought were very productive. Did his research. They met in Denver where Klein was recruiting. And Colin Klein said, I knew after a very short period of time I wanted to work for Mike Elko. Over the middle, nice catch, run after the catch. Barber first down inside the 40. Stopped by Demetrius Knight, but it's a 16-yard gain. And the Aggies are on the move, and they're doing it quickly.
Yeah, if I'm Reed, I'm looking in Barber's direction again. He's a little bit slow to get up, but he's hot right now.
Reed stepped up in the pocket, and finally a sack. The first of the night for either team from Dylan Stewart.
And watch this hesitation by Stewart. He fakes like he's going to twist underneath the defensive tackle, which gets the left tackle, Zune, kind of step inside just a little bit, and then boom, he beats him with speed right around the edge. He almost strips the football, too, as he hits Marcel Reed with that right arm trying to dislodge it.
Well, it's a loss of 5. Trying to bounce outside unsuccessfully. E.J. Smith. Tackled by Demetrius White. Bill Lamagna did not think there should have been a penalty when Reed got hit in the head. They're on the 42. You'd say probably not at field goal range, but Bonds made a couple from 50 plus with plenty of room to spare. 6 minutes to go. 4 out of 13 on third down, the Aggies. Reed sacked again back at the 49. T.J. Sanders. And Mike Elko looks like he's sending the punt team on. They do have to get 21 yards for a first down now.
And how about the rush by T.J. Sanders? Consecutive drives now where he's just completely killed it. This time working against number 75, Cam Dewberry. Remember, A&M's without their starting left guard, Chase Basantis, tonight. Shanahan started, struggled, put Dewberry in, and he makes a big play.
So they're going to punt as we approach 5 minutes to go. Tyler White and a fair catch by Kilgore. Well, 2 weeks ago in Oklahoma, the Gamecocks had 9 sacks from 9 different players. They have a lot of guys who can get there. They finally did tonight.
Kevin Negandhi in studio time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. Tennessee's offense, Nico Iamaleava finding Miles Kitzelman. The Vols, they are now up against Kentucky, 21-18. Second half, a different story for the Volunteers offense. Look at this score. Louisville up 33-14. Final 4 minutes in the fourth quarter at Clemson over on ESPN. Back to Sean, Greg, and Molly.
And Kevin, they just put that score, and it's still up on the big screen here to our left, and the fans cheered. They like it whenever Clemson loses. Huge in-state rivalry, obviously. Joshua Simon on first down. Got blasted after he reached the 35 for a 20-yard pickup. Nick Saban made the point on game day this morning about Clemson. They've won every game since they lost to Georgia, but I think every team they played had a losing record, or has a losing record. So
500 or worse. Virginia's their best win. They're 4-4 entering today. So, yeah, it may be a little smoke and mirrors involving Clemson. It's going to be a battle in a couple weeks, that's for sure. This South Carolina team, man, looks like their best football's approaching very quickly.
If they win tonight, they'll match their win total of all of last year when they finished 5-7. What a run by Sanders. Tough run for 9. Aggies desperately need a stop. They can't get it. 138 now for Sanders on 17 carries, including a 52-yard touchdown run.
Well, let's turn back the clock for the star running back, Rocket Sanders. How about this run right here? Downhill, but watch this bounce to the outside. And a great job breaking a tackle and taking off for more yards after contact. And then he gets a really favorable look. And guess what? It's nice when the safety picks the wrong hole. He's out the gate, but you see the speed that he became known for so many years here in the SEC, but he's not just doing it on the ground, he's also doing it through the air. Third down, critical third down situation. He breaks free, gets friendly for his quarterback, makes the catch, turns upfield for yet another big gain. So Rocket Sanders just do it all performance today. 138 on the ground, 92 through the air, and just constantly putting tons of pressure on this Aggie defense.
A lot of these students have made their way down close to the field. They are anticipating a field storming here. They haven't had a win over a ranked opponent since 2022. Most memorably that year, they finished strong at the end of the regular season. They beat Tennessee and Clemson in back-to-back weeks. Tennessee came here number 5 and rolling, and South Carolina handled them. They're still filing down toward the field. Raheem Sanders, the ball carrier on the last play. 4 minutes to go.
This feels like years in the making. The frustrations of this season, LSU game, really giving it away, making so many critical mistakes against Alabama that led to them coming up just a couple points short. This one feels like they've exercised a lot of demons for Shane Beamer.
A&M completely selling out on the run, as you would expect. Albert Regis first there for the Aggie defense. Loss of 2.
Timeout, Texas A&M. Final second half, 30-second timeout.
Against LSU, Shane Beamer's team got off to a 17-0 lead. Lenore Sellers got hurt. They were down by 3 late. Alex Herrera missed a 49-yard field goal at the end of regulation. At Alabama, down by 2. They couldn't get the 2-point conversion. They recovered the onside kick, but then an interception effectively ended the game. And when we talk to Shane Beamer, those things sting and they don't go away.
Yeah.
He's sitting there thinking we could so easily be in the position that Texas A&M is in. Other loss against the ranked team, they got hammered here at 27-3 by Ole Miss, but it could be a much different season right now for South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, to have one performance that left something to be desired. The rest of them, they played well. I mean, I guess you could say ODU, week 1, didn't play very well there, but they dominated Kentucky on the road. I mean, this team, they can certainly elevate their play at a moment's notice, and they have tonight.
There's a broken tackle. And a touchdown for Joshua Simon. 57 yards, a night of big plays for South Carolina. Catches 132 yards for the tight end Simon, and now 2 touchdowns. And Herrera adds the extra point. And all of a sudden it's the largest lead of the night. 17 points for Shane Beamer.
And full sellout by A&M against the run. So they just sneaked Simon right out into the flat. They fall for it. Simon breaks the tackle of Will Lee, and he's off to the races. Makes another guy miss. And Willie Bryce has come alive. Here as the great tight end makes another big play, and South Carolina on the verge, delivering Shane Beamer a signature win here in 2024.
It'll be his 4th win against a ranked opponent to get him to 4-14. It'll end a 9-game losing streak to ranked opponents. And this homecoming crowd is loving every minute of it. And the defense rose to the occasion in the second half. A&M has not scored here in the second half. It was tied at 20 at the break. And Mike Elko looks like he's in disbelief. And Greg, how about this number? There's the fair catch is made. Excuse me while I look at the chart. Carolina came into tonight with 53 explosive plays for the year. Now that is rushes of 10 or more yards and passes of 20 plus. They've had 6 passes of 20 plus tonight and 8 rushes of 10 or more.
It's unbelievable. To see 517 yards of offense against a defense that is this good, that is really built to stop what you do offensively, stop the run, own the line of scrimmage. It's just a remarkable effort by South Carolina.
And now Reed stripped to the ball, and South Carolina has it. Kyle Kennard has the ball. Looked like he was trying to tuck it away with Tonka Hemingway with a hand on him. It took them a long time to get to Reed. You almost wonder if that's a pass.
Yeah, I think the hand might have been moving forward. They'll get him for an intentional grounding, but
let's bring in Bill LeMonnier.
I see the defender on his grab pulling the hand down.
So you think it's a fumble?
I don't have that as a pass. I've got a fumble.
Wow. Is the tuck rule still a thing? We like the tuck rule in New England.
The ruling on the field is under further review.
Well, they're going to take a look at it in the booth. How'd you evaluate Marcel Reed tonight?
He's had some really good moments, and he's had moments in which he played a little bit like a freshman. The interception was a backbreaker when he just wasn't on the same page with his wide receiver, had a bad decision, really only a handful of bad decisions made by him, but they had moments where they couldn't execute simple handoffs. They put the ball on the deck. So he's going to have some growing pains. He's got a very bright future, but there have been really highs and there have been really low lows tonight, and that's emblematic of freshman football.
I think both of these teams are in good shape going forward at the quarterback position. Coach has talked about how Lenoris Sellers has improved as the season's gone on, and you can really see it. Maybe it's because he shed the glasses.
Right.
You know, he said when we talked the other day, he's been trying contacts.
Further review, the rule on the field stands. First down.
South Carolina led in this one 14-0. A&M went on a 20-3 run, and it's been 20-0 since for South Carolina. They've outscored the Aggies 17-0 here. In the second half, they kicked the last-second field goal in the first half. 2 turnovers for Texas A&M. Both coaches, when we asked them the keys to the game during the week, first thing each of them said was turnovers. There haven't been many of them. 2 takeaways for South Carolina and 1 for a +1 for the Gamecocks tonight. Torian York made the tackle on Lenoris Sellers. 6-yard gain.
Well, this performance for Texas A&M is just so gut-wrenching. This is an improved program across the board. I mean, they have a lot of things to look forward to under Mike Elko. I could not be more optimistic about where the Aggies are heading, but this has been a tough pill to swallow after the breakthrough win last week. To go on the road and do an incredibly hostile place is tough sledding.
Mike Elko knew it was going to be tough, but I thought once they survived that onslaught at the beginning of the game, they were in good shape. Here's a bounce outside. Sanders puts the punctuation on his best performance as a Gamecock. That is his South Carolina high, 144 yards rushing, and he's now scored twice. This one from 7 yards out.
And just a great job bouncing to the outside yet again. It's been time and time again. Secondary players, linebackers, before A&M have kind of gotten caught inside, and Sanders with the bum ankle for several weeks, he couldn't get to the edge. Now he can, and he pays it off again. What a terrific performance from the veteran running back.
.144 rushing. They've had 2 100-yard rushers tonight. Sellers 106, a career high. And 92 yards receiving for Sanders. That's no surprise. He was a very good receiver when he was at Arkansas. 5 catches for him tonight. By far the most points A&M's given up. The previous high was 24 in a win at Mississippi State 2 weeks ago. 44 now for South Carolina after the Alex Herrera extra point. So there are no more undefeated teams in conference play. We still have the 5-0 up there, but ESPN is projecting that South Carolina will be the winner.
Timely.
Yeah. We don't need John King at a map to tell us. We don't need break down any counties. This one for the Aggies is going in the L column, and there will be 5 one-loss teams in the SEC. Tennessee's leading by 10 now against Kentucky. Frank Beamer, the very proud dad, here to share in one of the biggest wins of his son's 4-year tenure.
What a response. I mean, once A&M climbed their way back into the lead, really felt like this was going to slip away yet again. And man, they just said enough. Flipped it on its head, secured momentum, and haven't looked back.
So Steve Fink does a great job running the sports information department here at South Carolina. How about the story Shane Beamer told us talking about father and son? You know, one that he grew up with his dad on the sideline at Murray State and Virginia Tech. There's some great pictures in Shane's house here in Columbia with his dad. And his son, Hunter, is a fixture on the sideline. 2 weeks ago when they won at Oklahoma, there was a great shot in the final minute, the clock ticking off. Hunter walks over and hugs his dad and says something, and Shane Beamer started laughing. And when Hunter Brown said, hey, a couple of the players said they'd like you in the locker room to say, see you on Monday. There's Hunter. Usually they come in on Sunday for meetings, and Shane Beamer followed Hunter's advice, walked in, said, see you on Monday. Yeah. Of course, it was a little easier to give him a day off because they were heading into a bye week anyway. But there's a lot of flashbacks for Shane and Frank when they see Hunter on that sideline. What a great man Frank Beamer is. One of the all-time greats. Amazing. As a coach in the Hall of Fame and as a person. '47-year-old Shane Beamer in his 4th year here at South Carolina, celebrating one of the biggest wins of his tenure with his son Hunter and his wife Emily, the parents of 3. They have 2 daughters. This one feels like one that might change the trajectory and the momentum of this program after some excruciating losses earlier this year. And an important year. You know, he won 8 games in his 2nd year, had those wins against Tennessee and Clemson to finish. Everybody thought, wow, this is an upward trajectory. And then last year, a very disappointing 5-7.
But it does feel like they're trending in the right direction. I mean, I completely agree with you. And they're not a team that you want to face down the stretch. I mean, if you're Missouri, if you're Clemson, this team is going to be a massive problem because Lenora Sellers is improving. They're getting healthier at certain spots, and I think there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Gamecock fan.
What a night for Lenora Sellers. Passed for 244 and 2 touchdowns. And ran for a career high 106. Well, earlier we talked about the All-State playoff predictor of the night toward the SEC championship game. And here's what happens to A&M's chances to make the 12-team college football playoff. With this loss, they go from 46% coming in to just 22%. And they're going to have to win that game against Texas at the end of the year.
That's it. I mean, it comes down to they got to win out now. I mean, they have no margin for error, and they got to look pretty impressive, and they might need a little help along the way from some other teams as well.
E.J. Smith driven back, and they're not going to snap it again. Mike Elko starting across the field to congratulate Shane Beamer. And here they come. From everywhere. .4-point win against the number 10 team in the country. There's Molly with Shane.
Coach, you had fourth quarter leads against Alabama and LSU. You let it slip through your fingers. Why was tonight different?
Because we got a unbelievably special group of guys. I'm so happy for our players. We got so many guys that went through a disappointing season last year, but came back this year with high expectations. I love coaching these kids. I thank God every day that I get to coach this group. They're so much fun to be around. They work. All we talked about at halftime was finish. We got it. It's a four-quarter war. It's tied up at the half. We got to go finish. And what are we outscoring? 24-0 in the second half. And it says so much about our team. Sorry, he's wanted a field storming for a while now. It says so much about our team. Like, that's a heck of a team. And I got so much respect for them and the way they play the game. And all the talk this week was about how physical they are. And they are. We're pretty damn physical, too. And we showed that tonight. To run the ball like we did, I mean, there's no better environment in college football. I mean, look at this.
So many explosive plays for your offense. How are they able to find so much success against what everyone called such a physical A&M defensive front?
Yeah, just work. We've practiced so much better the last couple of weeks, especially offensively. We just continue to get better. You know, I think I told you guys on Wednesday when we talked, Lenoris was a young quarterback early in the year, and he just continues to get better every single game. You need to be talking to him, because I wouldn't trade that kid. I wouldn't trade that kid for anybody.
Coach, you mentioned all the talk this week was about A&M's defensive front. What kind of edge and physicality did your defense play with in this game?
Yeah, that's who we are. I know I told you before the game, we told the players all week, this is going to be like a Tuesday practice at our place. And I may be young, but I got more old school in me than people think. And there's a lot of things that we do in practice that coaches have been like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, my dad did it for 29 years as a head coach, so we sure as heck can. But it's the way we practice, and what a statement win about our program.
Coach, you told us they remember November. How is this team only getting started?
We just continue to get better. We're set up. We should be playing our best ball down the stretch here. The way we've continued to get better all year. We got a big challenge next week in Nashville. I watched Vanderbilt today go down there and dominate Auburn physically and get bowl eligible. So we know we have a big challenge, but we'll be right back to work tomorrow.
Go celebrate this field storming. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Big night for Lenoris Sellers. He's definitely much improved. He rushed for 106. The first Gamecock quarterback to rush for 100 in a conference game since 2002, when Corey Jenkins went for 101 on the ground. September of 2002, in a loss 13-7 to number 9 Georgia. And Raheem Sanders rushed for 144, 92 receiving. First Gamecock with 100 rushing, 90 receiving a game since Ryan Brewer in 2001 in the Outback Bowl against Ohio State. Final score here in Columbia, South Carolina. The Gamecocks 44, the Texas A&M Aggies 20. Now for Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, our great crew, Sean McDonough, good night from Columbia. Coming up next, your local news over most of these ABC stations.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.